Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am the Desert Claw, and there are two major things I want to talk about in this week's chapter, but before I get to that, smash the like button and subscribe for more content. Subscribing is free and really helps the growth of the channel. And if you're an anime-only viewer and you do not want to be spoiled, you may want to turn away. Okay, so let's get into this week's chapter. We leave off where we left off last week, and Ogun and Charon are still fighting. And at the beginning of this chapter, they're still arguing over philosophy. Charon has very well dug his heels into his philosophy that death is a noble thing, and that death can release people from their pain, and it shouldn't be feared, and stuff like that. And Ogun 100% disagrees and says it's his job as a Fire Force agent, I forget you say, or soldier, Fire Force soldier, to protect people and give them a choice. And what I find interesting here is there's a kind of another maybe side ideology that's happening, unconscious, you could say, to our characters. I think Charon, because of his access to, say, the collective unconscious, and he sees the hidden desires of man, that's given him and his family, his cohorts, carte blanche ability to make decisions for people that aren't really deciding anything. Because the collective unconscious says that if humanity wants death, then we are literally just giving them what they want. And it's kind of an elitist attitude that he's removing agency away from people, in the sense that if you were to consciously ask somebody, do you want to be nuked as a second son, they'd probably say no. But because their despair, their secret despair, is collecting up an Adola, it's giving the white-clad carte blanche to say, okay, this is what people want, we're going to give it to them. And in his mind, it's a noble thing. He's giving them release from their pain, and it's okay. And in Ogun's philosophy is the complete opposite, and it isn't just because he's a fire soldier. And we find out that his duty, according to see this panel here, his duty comes all the way from the last cataclysm. And you find out that Ogun is a descendant of the person who helped get basically all of the different cultures from around the world to the Tokyo Empire. There's like 3 or 4 different cruise ships here, and you find out that Ogun's ancestor was the captain of the ship, and to fix everyone's fears, he would sing them reggae songs about love every night and all kinds of stuff. So his family's been quite the uplifting and strong figure. One thing I think is very interesting about this little tidbit now too is we know how and why many different cultures ended up in the Tokyo Empire. What I'm curious about is, if you look at the storms in the background, it clearly was not a easy voyage. Was this something that happened with survivors on land, and they found these cruise ships and this cruise line or whatever, they just mobilized and they found that there were survivors in Japan and they moved that way? Because this is the total reason why the proto-nationalists in Benimaru's side exist, because they are the old school true Japanese, where the Tokyo Empire is the more multicultural part of it, right? So back to what I was saying though, was this something that was mobilized on land by survivors of the cataclysm, or were these 3 or 4 cruise ships already at sea when the cataclysm happened, and they must have retrieved some kind of communication from radio or whatever, that there was life still in Japan, and that there was, they were accepting people to come, or if you were, a part of this terrible outcome, come to Japan. I don't know. It's just something very interesting to think about, though. And so this mythology, this story that's lasted for however long in Ogun's family has painted his worldview. And another interesting fact about this cruise ship thing, Raffles 1 was on this ship, which is amazing. Now the question is, this Raffles 1, was it the original or was it the imposter at this point? I'm probably going to say it was the original. I don't think I don't think the Evangelist made its move until the original Raffles got to land, started evangelizing his new Holy Soul religion, got to a point where it was big enough to have enough followers and influence, and then they offed him. I don't think so. I think the original Raffles was definitely on this cruise ship. Clearly, probably a Westerner. Obviously, we've seen his doppelganger. It looks like a Westerner to me. And yeah, so we keep getting these very nice tidbits of lore from the past. Especially, we got the most of it when Shinra went back in time. We got to see the pre-Cataclysm people. So very interesting on this part. And so now we have both of these characters' philosophies dialed down and why they exist. And then the fight continues. And Charon starts to give Ogun the business. Pretty harsh. We kind of see in the last chapter Ogun being too quick for Charon and giving him some trouble. But Charon is an extremely adaptable fighter, and he clearly adapts in this chapter, even at Ogun at full power. And in the final panel, it looks like Charon smokes Ogun. A lot of people have speculated that he might be done because he had a flashback, and one of the tropes of this series is if you have a flashback, you might be done. However, in the final panel where Charon does his stomp, you see this line that's coming from the ground up to the top, which tells me that's Ogun getting out quickly. So quickly that Charon didn't notice, because at the very end, he says, "That's one, who's next?" So I don't know if is Charon blind? I don't know if he's blind or if it's just something that he does. He just likes to feel the world around him, but I don't think Ogun's done. Other people have said, well, what about that character back in the Juggernaut arc where Juggernaut lost his limbs? The guy with the shotgun who was like super cool for like 2 chapters and just gets offed in like 2 seconds. Possible. But Ogun's been around for a long time. He's not a bit character. So I don't think he's done yet. And I think the fight's going to continue, because what? Is Arthur going to go and fight Charon at this point, or Obi? Obi's just going to get smoked. Like, I said to one of my commenters, Obi is now Batman while the rest of the Justice League fights like Darkseid or something huge. And Batman's just in the back like trying not to get nuked. Which sucks, which I hope something more happens with Obi. I really do. I think there's a reason why. I think he's going to find his doppelganger or something, and it's going to trigger some sort of reaction, or they're going to fight. I don't know. But yeah, I don't think Ogun's done. I wouldn't worry too much. I would be super surprised if he's dead. I really would. Because then it's Arthur versus Charon, and it's going to be super weird, because then Arthur's waiting for Dragon. So I don't think that's what's going to happen. But we'll find out next week. So tell me what you all thought about this chapter. I thought it was really good. I like it when we go back in time and we get to see how the Empire came to be. Clearly, a bunch of people in cruise ships came over, which I think is super funny. If you go back and watch season 1, the anime, and they have that scroll of the history of the Holy Soul Church, and it looks like, you know, like old binding scrolls, and you find out the dude came over on a cruise ship. I think that's funny. So I don't know. We'll find out. But if you like that, hit the like button, subscribe for more content, and I am the Desert Claw. I hope you all have a good one. See you later.